Hello and welcome to the JetBackup tutorial series. In this video we'll cover the backup jobs section and we'll explore how to configure and manage backup jobs, what options and configurations are available to us, and go through a few example backup job configurations to cover some specific use cases. We'll cover creating a backup job types, backup structures, excludes, encrypted backups, account filters, directories and files to exclude or include, schedules, backup retains, settings, and much more. To begin, we'll go to the Backup Jobs page in JetBackup 5. Here you'll find a list of currently configured jobs, as well as a quick overview of each job. Clicking on a backup job expands the job to show some more additional options and quick actions. On the top left corner, you can also manage your schedules and account filters. And lastly, there's a Create New Backup Job button that opens a backup job creation menu. Opening this menu will take you to the creation menu, and we can go over the fields here as they're listed. First, you'll want to set a name for the job. This can be used internally for your convenience so you can have an idea what a job is at the glance. We'll name it Daily, as this is going to be Daily Backups. Second, we have the owner field. This field will specify the owner of the job. In some cases, your reseller accounts may have their own specific backup jobs, and this would be where you specify which of these accounts owns this job. The root user here will work just fine in our case. Following the owner field, we have the destinations field. This is where we'll determine where we'd like to send our backups. It's worth noting that multiple destinations can be sent here to send backups from a single job to multiple different destinations regardless of their type. For example, we can have our backup sent to an S3 and a local destination at the same time, which we'll set here. And then next is a simple but significant field that determines what type of backups will be created by this job. By default, a backup job will be an accounts backup. This backup will be the hosted user accounts and their data on your hosting control panel. You can further refine this with excludes, which is a feature we'll go over in just a little bit. But this is generally the most common configuration, and we always recommend at least one account backup job to back up user data in case of disaster. In addition to account backups, we have directory and server BMR backups. Directory backups are used to back up important system files and configuration files. Server or BMR backups are intended for a bare metal restore scenario and will back up core system files and create a bootable ISO from them. This can be very helpful for restoring a system that has experienced an unexpected failure and getting it back up and running as soon as possible. In our example, we'll create an accounts backup. The Backup Contains field will be present for account backups and will determine which account items you'd like to include in your backup. By default, all account items are backed up, but if we want to exclude an item such as home directory files, we can do so by unchecking the box next to home dir files. Some items have more granular control, such as the email item. With emails, we can exclude emails entirely by excluding the email account item, or we can choose to back up emails without their contents, and we also have the option to exclude junk emails to exclude unimportant junk, for example. The backup structure setting can be important depending on your choice of destination. Destination types such as Dropbox or Google Drive have file upload rate limits, which can lead to failed uploads in cases with high file counts. For this destination type, we always recommend an archived or compressed backup if you'd like to save space. It's worth noting though, a compressed backup will take slightly longer to complete as JetBackup must create the archive and then compress it, which will take system resources to handle. JetBackup also provides the option to choose to retry any failed items, which can be helpful if you experience occasional intermittent connection or upload issues that may resolve themselves with time. The Account Filters option allows you to add a filter to determine which accounts are included in the backup job. These filters are created in another menu which requires its own explanation, which we'll go over in just a bit. Following the Account Filters field, we have the Directories and Files to Exclude field, which can be important for making sure your backups aren't including junk files, such as logs or cache files, which may impact backups or unnecessarily increase their size. JetBackup provides an Add Recommended Excludes option to easily add a list of recommended excludes to your job with one click. However, we always recommend tailoring this setting to your particular use case, as every environment will be a little bit different. Following this, we have the Schedules field. Schedules will let us set a schedule for our job, and schedules are created in their own menu and have their own settings that we'll go over in a future section. For now, we'll select our daily schedule. It's important to note a single schedule can be used on multiple jobs, so you don't need to make duplicates of the same schedule. Finally, the monitor options will allow you to set up alerts to monitor the status of your backup job. This setting is very important and can be easily overlooked. It includes two conditions in which JetBackup would notify you via the email or other notification integration defined in your notification settings in the settings page. With this setting, you'll want to define when a notification will be sent if the backup job has not ran or has ran for longer than your desired amount of time. As our backup job is a daily backup, it should not run for longer than 1 day, and we would want to know if it does run for longer than 1 day, or for any reason has not run for 1 day. So we'll set up both of these fields to 1. Once we've gone over our settings one more time to make sure everything looks correct, we can click Save and create our job. We'll now go over the Schedules page by clicking the Manage Schedules button. On this page, we'll see a list of all schedules we have configured, the type of schedule, the delay if applicable, the owner, and lastly, the number of backup jobs assigned to each schedule. Clicking on a schedule will expand it to show our Manage Schedule button, which will allow us to make adjustments to any of these schedules. And just as covered in the backup job creation page, we also have the option to create a new schedule. Once we finish creating a schedule, we can add that schedule to a job. Let's go ahead and create a daily backup schedule, as this is a common schedule type for backup jobs. Once we're in the schedule creation menu, we can see we've got a few options to configure our schedule to our liking. We can name it something to keep track of it. I'll name this job daily since we want a daily schedule to attach to our account backups. After the name, we have the schedule type with a few options. We have the option to configure our schedule around hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly schedule types, and with each of these we have more granular options allowing us to choose, for example, an hourly backup every 2 hours or a daily backup where we skip a single day. For our case, we'll select daily and check the box on each day so that we get a backup all 7 days of the week. Once this is done, we can click Save and take us back to the Schedules page, and that's it. Each job's retention is controlled in the Job Management menu, so when assigning a schedule, we can choose to set the retention level there. Another important feature for your jobs is account filters. This lets you customize which accounts are backed up by your jobs. In our example, we'll create a filter to skip any accounts over 1 GB in size. So we'll navigate to the backup job creation page one more time, then click on the Manage Account Filters button, and we'll cover the Account Filters page. Similar to the Schedules page, here we have the option to create a new filter and get an overview of all of the backup job account filters you have configured, the filter type, the owner, and the number of jobs assigned to each account filter. Clicking on a filter expands to show the Manage and Delete Account Filter buttons. Clicking on Create New Account Filter takes us to the creation page. We're met with a few more options here to configure our filter, starting with the filter type. We can define how this filter functions and what it will be filtering based on. JetBackup comes with options for including or excluding accounts based on traits like account owner, reseller, suspended status, backup encryption setting, disk usage, inode usage, package, as well as options to filter by name in various ways, such as a character range or regular expression filter. Additionally, all accounts can be tagged and filtered based on tags for even more granular control of including and excluding accounts. For our demonstration, we'll be using a disk space usage filter. This will let us define a disk space usage limit for an account that will determine if accounts are excluded from a backup from being too large or too small depending on the configuration. We'll name it Disk Usage Filter for this demonstration. Filter conditions will change based on the filter type. For a disk usage filter, we can choose to include in our filter if they are above or below the defined threshold. In our case, we'll set the value at 1000 megabytes or 1 gigabyte and our filter condition at above to specify that we want this filter to affect accounts that go above our specified limit. And then we can click Save, and then that will create the filter for us, and you can see the filter here. Thanks for watching our tutorial on backup jobs in JetBackup 5. In the next video, we'll go over clone jobs, which will include the setup and function of clone jobs, as well as some key differences clone jobs and normal backup jobs have, as well as some unique settings.